So it does feel like sometimes that people only watch my videos because of Charlie, and I don't blame you because he is a looker. He's a beautiful horse. He has a great personality. He's playful. Um, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a video on Charlie, just about Charlie. You can't eat that, Charlie. No, no. But I thought, I'm going to do a video just talking about a little bit of history about him, his personality. And I definitely want to tell the story. It's a very interesting story about how I ended up with him. So with Charlie, he's about 15 years old. I'd had him for about 7 years. I started him myself. He was not an easy horse to start. Out of all the horses I ever had, Charlie has taught me the most. And, I take a lot of pride in Charlie. He was not an easy horse to start. He was my very first horse that I had started. And I do take a lot of pride with him. And if you watch my videos, you probably notice that Charlie is my favorite. I do use him in my videos quite a bit. But with Charlie, a little bit about him is he's playful, he's energetic, he's athletic, he's very smart. He's not a beginner horse. He's definitely not a beginner's horse. And I'm the only person that has ever ridden him because of that. And the reason is because he's not forgiving. He don't tolerate mistakes. He's not going to tolerate you pulling on him and pushing on him. He's very sensitive. And if he feels like you don't know what you're doing, he doesn't want nothing to do with you. He wants you off. So he's not a beginner's horse. I've never put anybody on there because I do deal with beginners. So, I haven't had anybody else ride him. Now, Charlie, I kind of feel like he is kind of a one-person horse because he's very, very leery of people, especially strangers. But even with my family members, he's not very tolerant of them. He definitely doesn't want them going up, petting on him unless I'm standing right there. So I take a lot of pride in this horse. I do. He's taught me a lot. Out of all the horses I've worked with, Charlie has taught me the most. A little bit more about Charlie is he's a very cool Liberty horse. He actually enjoys playing at Liberty. Out of like my other two horses, they're mares and they'll do some Liberty work with me, but nothing like Charlie. Charlie actually enjoys it. He gets very playful, so he's fun to play. Doing some Liberty training with him. So how I ended up with him is actually, when I look back on it now, it was probably pretty dumb idea to do that. But, here we are, we made it. But when I was ready for another horse, so at the time I just had Sass, and I was ready for another horse, and I asked the lady, the lady that I got Sass from, because I got all three of my horses from the same lady. She don't do it so much anymore now that she's older, but she would take in horses that people didn't want anymore. She would take in abused and neglected horses. So I got all three of my horses from her, and they're all free. So yeah, I got Charlie for free, got all my horses for free. And so anyways, I was ready for another horse. I asked her, what horses do you have? She pointed out Charlie, and I seen him, and I was like, yeah, I definitely want Charlie. I fell in love immediately. He has that blue eye. I love that blue eye. But the thing with the problem that we were having is I didn't have a trailer at the time. So I had no way to get him to my place. And the lady lived about, 6 to 8 miles from my house. So I didn't have a trailer. She did have a trailer. I don't really remember the reason. I do kind of remember that she didn't think Charlie would load very well. He'd only been loaded one other time. He didn't do very well. So I was like, you know what? I really want this horse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk him home. I'm going to lead him to my house. So yeah, I walked Charlie like 6 to 8 miles. And, you got to think, he was a wild horse. He's pretty much untouched, very little human contact. But before you start judging, let me finish the story. So what I ended up doing was, okay, I'm going to lead him to my place. And what I did was for 3-4 days straight, I would go to her place. I had a bucket of grain. I got him comfortable to where he was, he was okay in my presence. He got good to where I could get the halter on him, surprisingly. So I think it was like the 4th or 5th day of doing that. I was like, okay, he's ready. Let's do this. And so I just had my son drop me off. I checked the weather. It was supposed to be a nice, beautiful day out. I was just in a t-shirt. And I had a plan that, I was going to get the halter on Charlie. And because of the lady's driveway, she had 3 closed gates. That was her driveway. She had an extremely long driveway. And the plan that I had was, if he was resistant or overreacting too much, that I would turn around. I would try and figure something else out. But what ended up happening was actually pretty amazing. So I got the halter on him. I started leading him out, and, he's leaving his buddies behind. He's leaving his comfort zone, and, he doesn't know me that well. And, we get to the first gate, and he's calling out, he's calling out to his buddies. His buddies are following us, but he's not being extreme or anything. He's not being resistant. He's following. So I get through all 3 gates, and there was no resistance. He was following me. He was a little anxious. He was worried. He was calling out, but he was not, he wasn't being extreme or anything. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's do it. So I ended up walking him 6 to 8 miles to my place. He didn't know how to lead. He didn't know any ground manners. I now looking back, I probably would have done it a little bit differently, but at the time, I just wanted to keep myself, just calm, relaxed. I talked to him a lot. Soothingly, I talked to him a lot. At the time, his name was Kieran. So I just talked to him quite a bit and just tried to stay calm, and we made it. But what happened was, halfway there, the clouds rolled in. It started pouring down rain. It started getting windy. A little bit of thunder and lightning started happening. And I was already halfway there. So it was just like, we got to keep going. So we ended up, when it would thunder and lightning, I would try to find cover. So there was a couple times where we stopped like in a big tree. I remember that. Yeah. Stopped at a barn, just to get out of that rain. But we made it. We made it all the way home. Because Sassy and Charlie knew each other, because they were friends over there. And they were so excited to see each other. I wish I would have videoed that. Don't get impatient, buddy. And he's impatient. He is impatient. He likes to work. He has a good work ethic. He has a lot of forward. He has a lot of try. So that's the story of Charlie. That's a little bit about Charlie. Hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, Charlie and I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.